Part 187. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1862. When Zhang Chen and others arrived at Beijing Airport, Lu Qing arrived earlier than them and picked them up at the airport. Lu Changcheng invited them to dinner in the evening, and Li Yong and Sun Ho came. In a few months, by the first half of next year, Lu Changcheng will be 65 years old and will retire to the second line and go to the National People's Congress as Deputy Director of the Finance and Economics Committee. By this time, his replacement has been put in place and they are in the process of handing over. Lu Changcheng was very happy to see Zhang Chen. He said that after retiring, he would go back to Hangzhou most of the time and could often visit Zhang Chen and the others. I heard that the new buildings in your dynamic zone have been built. Zhang Chen joked, the most important thing is, if I invite the leader to dinner again, the leader won't refuse, right? Everyone laughed. Naturally, everyone started talking about the purpose of Xiaofang and the others coming to Beijing this time, as well as the current status of internet finance. Sun Ho and Xiaofang said that as a bank, of course we are in favor of rectifying this industry. We are the first to bear the brunt of the chaos in internet finance. Depositors are losing a lot of money and our pressure is unprecedented. The following is many branches can only reduce operating costs by reducing their business outlets. It sounds like one of the positive meanings to me, Lu Changcheng said, at least it hurts you and changed your bank's bossy style. How dare you, sir? We are more like stepmothers now. They are doing all the businesses we can do, but the regulatory burden falls on us. They, even the banking regulator, can't control them, Sun Ho said, unconvinced. Internet finance is not without its merits. Let me summarize a few points. Lu Changcheng raised his right hand and counted on his fingers. He said, first, it has broadened public investment channels, which cannot be denied. Second, it has really solved the financial difficulties of some small and medium-sized enterprises, which cannot be denied. We have been saying every year that credit should be given to small and medium-sized enterprises and that we should support the vast number of small and medium-sized enterprises, but your bank basically cannot move it even if it does not allocate it. Zia-sun, do you have to admit this? This cannot be entirely blamed on our bank, Sun Ho said. Where are the regulatory regulations? Our bank cannot open up all risk exposures, and end up suffering from both sides. The fact is that the People's Bank of China and the Banking Regulatory Commission have no control over our risks. The control requirements have not been relaxed at all, and the guarantee measures and means that small and medium-sized enterprises can provide are indeed weak. In the past few years, there were guarantee companies that could provide third-party guarantees to make up for the shortcomings in this area. Now, these guarantee companies are basically dead. Small and medium-sized enterprises can provide even fewer guarantees, and we have no way. There is a red line for non-performing loan assessment, and our bank can't lend it out even if it has money. Okay, Xiao-sun, what you said makes sense. I'll continue to summarize, Lu Changcheng said. I think one of the biggest benefits of internet finance is that you look at how loan sharking has become in various places in the past few years. It's so crazy. Has the current development of internet finance curbed the spread and growth of loan sharking? Everyone agreed with what Lu Changcheng said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, the companies I knew that used to be loan sharks are now doing online loans. There is also the possibility that internet finance will turn into disguised loan sharking. If that happens, its influence and scope will become more widespread and hidden with the help of the internet, making it more difficult to regulate. Xiaofang's words were equivalent to denying what Lu Changcheng had just said, but after hearing this, Lu Changcheng gently slapped the table with his hand and shouted, this is to the point. This is what I'm most worried about. Xiaofang, please continue talking. Xiaofang nodded and continued, the original loan sharks were basically aimed at small and medium-sized enterprises, small and micro enterprises, especially private small and micro enterprises. Today's internet finance can be said to have the risk of spreading to the public, especially students. They are the most able to accept this financial model, but at the same time they are the group of people least able to repay. They are also the group of people who have the weakest self-control and are most likely to consume blindly and impulsively, Li Yong said. I learned about it that day and found that many of my son's classmates were borrowing online loans. Xiaofang said, there is another thing. Once this industry becomes a gangster, this group of people will be the least capable of self-protection, but at the same time they will be the group of people with the greatest influence on society. Which child is not involved in a lot of things? Elderly people, if something happens to them, the impact will not be on the economic level, but on the social level. This highlights the urgency of this matter, Li Yong said. When Xiaofang was talking, Lu Chengcheng kept nodding. After Xiaofang and Li Yong finished speaking, he said, it's a double-edged sword, and it's very sharp. We've been saying that if you control it, you'll die, and if you let it go, it will lead to chaos. In the field of internet finance, it's even worse. Xiaofang looked at Lu Chengcheng and asked, Uncle, I have an idea, can I tell you directly? Tell me everything you know, especially on this occasion. Lu Chengcheng raised his hand and urged Xiaofang. Xiaofang smiled and said, actually, this is not the problem we are facing now. In the financial field, development and supervision have always been twins. This has been the case since the beginning of modern finance. Comparatively speaking, supervision is always the same. It is conservative. It acts as a rein, holding a galloping horse back with all its strength. At the same time, it also plays the role of a safety belt. In the field of internet finance, with all due respect, we opened too fast and took too big steps. I have carefully inspected it in the United States and Europe. It can be said that, even in the United States and Europe, no country dared to let go so quickly. We were a little too anxious and let go before we could see clearly what was going on. Our reforms have always encouraged bold changes and bold attempts, but in the financial field, they are the least allowed to be tried. We would rather take a smaller step than take a too big step, because the impact is too great and the speed of spread is too fast. Like the impact of the subprime mortgage crisis has not been completely eliminated until now, but it has been quietly proceeding from its origin, development to outbreak. This is determined by the characteristics of finance itself. Before the crisis reaches the breaking point, no one is aware of it and does not feel the crisis coming. But when it breaks out, the damage caused is above a magnitude 7 earthquake. In the area of internet finance, if we invest today, it is very likely that it will take several years to pay for it in the future. Xiaofang, what you said is very good. When you meet the comrades in charge, you will say this and express your true thoughts. Lu Chengcheng said, since I asked you to come to Beijing, I just want to know the truest truth condition. Xiaofang nodded and said, I will. Actually, in the field of internet finance, we do have internal debates. There are also different opinions between departments. Some think that encouragement is needed, while others think that the situation is already critical and an emergency brake is needed, Li Yong said. I think this is the case. Whether it is called internet finance, mutual finance, or inclusive finance, it is best to remove all the prefixes and return to the essence of finance, Xiaofang said. Looking at it this way, it is clearly, if we remove the prefix and just talk about finance, no one will object to the importance of risk control. What risk is? It's very simple. If money can go out and come back, the risk is controllable. If it goes out and cannot come back, the risk is uncontrollable. When the risk is uncontrollable, who will pay for the uncontrollable risk? The money belongs to the country, and the country has to pay. It belongs to the collective, and the collective pays. If it is an individual, of course the risk must be borne by the individual, and if it affects thousands of families when there are tens of thousands of households, This risk will be borne by thousands of households. In addition to the prefix, as for the current internet finance and its impact on thousands of households, those who say that they should strongly encourage and support them should first think clearly about how to resolve the risks of thousands of households. Do they have any good ideas? The solution? If not, let's talk about encouragement and support. I think this is. Xiaofang was thinking of the right words, and Lu Changcheng said, "It's just irresponsible." Xiaofang smiled and said, "Uncle is right, this is irresponsible. Before liberalization, at least a red line must be drawn. President Sun should know very well that in the financial field, even if a red line is drawn, it is difficult to hold on to it. Why? Because there are too many people who want to break through this red line. When it comes to breaking through the red line is in vain. Let me give you the simplest example. For example, every bank loan is required to have post-loan supervision. That is, the purpose of the loan must match your loan application and cannot be used for other purposes. But in fact, no one will take care of how the company uses the money if the loan is not released by the bank. Otherwise, there will not be so much bank funds. In the end, they will all go to real estate, even small and micro enterprises. After getting the loan, the business owner also went to buy a house. In the end, the loan went to real estate. This is still a bank, and bank supervision is so difficult to implement. How can you manage so many online lending platforms? By the way, this name reflects the problem very well. Everyone calls it the online loan platform. Why? Because everyone knows that what they are doing is loan business, although they are not allowed to do loan business. It can only be used as an information intermediary platform, but in fact, everyone has broken through this red line. As soon as Xiaofang finished speaking, Lu Changcheng said, "In other words, you must have bottom-line thinking." Yes, bottom-line thinking is to think clearly about whether you can bear the consequences when the worst happens. Only when you can bear the worst results can you talk about encouragement and development, Xiaofang said. Thank you Wang Qingxi for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Qing Qing Quan, professional season formal wear, Fang Xiaoluo, traveling passerby Ye Buzan, Buddha, Fuyingguang, leisurely view, Tianying 1978, Silent Heart, very careful 333, Book Friends 201911021135467118, Wandering Idle Man, Lin Bugziye, Nangong Xiaofeng, Book Friends 201710081615422219, Book Friends 201805121221100518, Quiet and Inaction 2012, Zhao 1017, Fantasy in the Wind, ABC 19791205, Book Friends 201810282240439444, Lulu 6717 P11, La Fi Night, Form Elo Blue, Proto Xiao Fan. Library Pavilion 3 monthly tickets for building administrator, Book Friend 2018090622320494, Dong Long Dong, Lon Zhouwen Li, Book Friend 201811241834233518. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1863. Xiaofang, have you thought about what to talk to the main responsible comrades tomorrow? Lu Changcheng asked. Xiaofang nodded and said, I have thought about it, and I will suggest that the top priority now is to severely crack down on online financial fraud under the guise of internet finance and inclusive finance, such as mutual finance and Morgan Coin. Wait, these are typical online frauds and pyramid schemes. If these are not cracked down on, there will be no healthy soil for internet finance. Second, we must conduct a thorough survey of the existing internet loan platforms as soon as possible to find out how many platforms there are, How much business each platform has, and what the size of its funds is. Only by first understanding can we know, once a problem occurs, how wide the scope will be. On this basis, there are several things that must be done for these online loan platforms. First, the positioning of the platform must be accurate and cannot be vague. It is an information intermediary agency, not a credit guarantee agency, and more not a financial or quasi-financial institution. Second, draw clear red lines on the platform's business scope, that is, clearly tell them what they cannot do and list prohibited sexual behaviors. For example, it is not allowed to use this institution's platform to finance the platform itself or related borrowers. It is not allowed to directly or indirectly accept and collect funds from lenders. It is not allowed to provide guarantees to lenders or promise to guarantee principal and interest, etc. At the same time, it is necessary to prevent collusion between platforms. For example, Platform A guides customer funds to the borrower designated by Platform B, and Platform B guides customer funds to the borrower designated by Platform A. Third, all customer funds must be separated from the platform's own funds, and a third-party custody system for customer funds must be implemented. That is, online lending institutions should select qualified banking financial institutions as third-party fund depositories. It manages and supervises customer funds and realizes separate account management of customer funds and online lending institutions' own funds. Fourth, if pre-approval is difficult to achieve, at least these platforms are required to report to the local financial office afterward. This will help the local financial office to supervise and manage them. Why can't we pre-approval? Sun Ho said, if all online loan platforms had pre-approval, it would be more beneficial to control risks, right? Have you considered that if there is pre-approval, there will definitely be huge room for rent-seeking power? Once you have the power to seek rent, even supervision becomes an empty talk. Small loan companies everywhere will appear during the approval process. All the chaos will happen again. Moreover, for example, if my platform is approved in Gansu, you cannot restrict me from doing business in Zhejiang online. If this is the case, what will happen between the approval agency and the approval agency? When Xiaofang said this, everyone laughed. Everyone knows what will happen if this happens. It will probably happen by then. Approval agencies in various places will compete for each other's business, and more likely, a platform license will be resold privately. Xiaofang continued, moreover, if you pre-approval, many platforms will simply bypass it and not even apply for approval. From the ground to the underground, supervision will be more difficult. In comparison, the reporting system can actually knowing the true situation will also be beneficial to the local financial office's subsequent supervision. Sun Ho nodded and agreed with Xiaofang's statement. Xiaofang continued what she said before. Another point is that if conditions permit, the business of online loan platforms should be included in the credit reporting system. At least an information platform should be established that is composed of all online loan platforms to reduce evasion. In the event of debt abolition, a blacklist system will be established. This is the same logic as that of financial institutions. As long as the non-performing loan ratio of the platform can be reduced, systemic harm will not occur and the platform can still develop healthily. On the contrary, it is very likely that it will have to be banned in the end road. After Xiaofang finished speaking, Lu Changcheng said, yes, I hope your suggestions will be taken seriously. By the way, after I go to the National People's Congress, I will do my best to promote the formulation of relevant laws and regulations. Not only internet finance, but also Bitcoin is now controversial. Some of our comrades have suggested that we should be ahead of other countries and take the lead in legalizing Bitcoin and allowing it to be traded domestically. Li Yong said, Xiaofang, what do you think of this? Of course not. This means that we have a second currency besides the RMB. How can we control the total amount of M2? Allowing Bitcoin to circulate legally is tantamount to giving up part of the central bank's currency issuance power, which will directly threaten the financial sovereignty, Xiaofang said. What's the difference between this Bitcoin and Qcoin? Lu Qing asked. Isn't Qcoin within a certain range and can be circulated? Xiaofang said, Qcoins and various game currencies can only be said to be vouchers at best. Their basis is still RMB. They are more like a commodity that needs to be purchased with RMB, rather than currency. They are essentially the same as Bitcoin's difference. The next day, Xiaofang followed Li Yong and entered Xinhua Gate. Li Yong told them afterwards that the exchange between Xiaofang and the main responsible comrades had attracted attention. Now, the State Council has taken the lead and organized departments such as the Ministry of Public Security and the Cyberspace Administration of China to we will severely crack down on online financial fraud like mutual finance. At the same time, the China Banking Regulatory Commission, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, the Ministry of Public Security, the National Internet Information Office and other units were also instructed to conduct an investigation on online loan platforms across the country. More than a month later, Xiaofang received a call from the relevant department, inviting her to Beijing to attend a meeting. The theme of the meeting was to serve as an expert member and participate in the formulation of the interim measures for the management of business activities of online lending information intermediaries, draft for comments. When Zhang Chen and Xiaofang returned to Hangzhou, Lu Yun also returned from the United States. Preparatory work for Fanhua Network to be listed on Nasdaq has been completed. Fanhua Network is scheduled to be listed on Nasdaq in February 2015. Starkey goes public. Mr. Huang later came to Zhang Chen's office twice more. The purpose of his visit was to invite Zhang Chen to become a customer of their 88 Finance, but Zhang Chen declined both times. As Xiaofang expected, Zhao Jingjing arrived at Zhang Chen's office and mysteriously told him about mutual finance, how to make money quickly. Do you have money to pay? Zhang Chen asked. The first time I didn't dare to bet too much, I just put in 100,000 yuan. It expired in 1 month. Haha, I really made a profit. I received calls from several accounts. I've already hit 130,000 yuan. I'm going to invest more. I really made it. Yes, Mr. Zhang, this money comes in too fast, Zhao Jingjing said cheerfully. Zhang Chen scolded Zhao Jingjing. He thought that Zhao Jingjing might not be the only one in the company who was deceived by this scam. Everyone outside knew that these people in Half-Acre Field were rich and could not be deceived. Concerned, Zhang Chen organized all the middle and high-level people in the group and asked Xiaofang to tell them about various online scams, how they were operated, and what the risks were. Xiaofang asked Zhao Jingjing, did your 130,000 yuan call come from different accounts? You don't know these people. That's right, Zhao Jingjing said, I also called out the same way. I seem to have called 9 people. Do you know that you think you have made a profit, but in fact, the risk is very high if you do this? Apart from what I said earlier, this is a game of passing flowers with drums. In addition to the risk of losing everything at any time, this 130,000 yuan is a risk in itself, Xiaofang said. Zhao Jingjing didn't understand and asked, the money has already been credited to my account, what's the risk? Xiaofang smiled and said, either the money comes to your account, or it's your money. All money comes and goes for a reason. Just pray. These people who send you money never thought of going to the court. If they sue you in court on the grounds of unjust enrichment, you won't even get the lawsuit, but you'll have to return the money to them. Why? Zhao Jingjing was surprised and asked. These people don't know you, so why should they give you money? It can be said that he made a mistake, Xiaofang said. But, I also fought out, Zhao Jingjing said. Are you calling these people when you call them? Xiaofang asked. Zhao Jingjing shook her head. You didn't call them, so what does they have to do with you? Xiaofang said, the judge will only order you to return the money to them. As for the money you sent, it has nothing to do with these cases. You can sue the people you sent money to in another case, Do you understand? I'm going to die. It turns out that this is the case. I don't dare to do it anymore, Zhao Jingjing said. Has anyone else done something like this? Zhang Chen asked everyone. Xiaojuan's face turned red. After hesitating for a long time, she raised her hand. Zhang Chen asked, have you been tricked? Xiao Wan said, I made a call of 30,000 yuan and wanted to give it a try. However, I was not as lucky as Zhao Jingjing. Just 4 days after I made the call, it seemed like it was no longer working. I couldn't even log into the website. Did you introduce me? Zhang Chen asked Zhao Jingjing. Zhao Jingjing quickly waved her hand and said, no, no. Xiao Wan also said, it's not Zhao Jingjing, it was introduced by one of my fellow villagers. Xiao Fang sighed and said, there are endless scams for making money on the internet. If you just hold on to the idea that the pie will not fall in the sky, you will not be fooled. Think about it, if there is any project, the money is really it's so easy to make money, these website developers, don't they know how to make money? What they make is yours. It's really hard to guard against. Su Kioxin said, some of my classmates also asked me to buy some gold coins. Fortunately, I haven't had time to buy them yet. If you buy it, you will fall in. Xiao Fang said, please everyone, if you encounter such a thing in the future, at least call me and let me give you some advice. Don't rush to buy it. Thank you for the reward at the age of 48. Thank you Xiao Shen Nian Fang 48, Moral Flame, Lulu 6717 P11, Zixi Zi, Huaxin Yongxiao, Breeze 365, Wei Zi 99999, Snacks, Fisherman Yahoo, Kuwait Travel, Book Friends 2020091116010975, Book Friends 201911021135464718, Running with a Smile Y, Yunlong Frogfish, Bulletin's Thread, Suyu Enian, Engross 11, Traveler Ye Buzan, Pampered Warriors Monthly Ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1864. A thorough investigation of all online lending platforms across the country organized by relevant departments was completed, and the results shocked everyone. By the end of November 2014, there were more than 3,200 online lending platforms, large and small, across the country. Not including large internet companies like Baidu and 360, they are also using their own funds to lend. These more than 3,200 online loan platforms have reached a financing balance of more than 500 billion yuan. After more than a year of development, they have reached such a large scale. This is something that the relevant departments did not expect, and it makes everyone even more worried. What is surprising is that among the more than 3,000 platforms, nearly 1,000 have already experienced problems of this kind. This proportion is staggering. The platform with the shortest time has only been open for more than 3 months, but already a large number of borrowers have evaded their debts, lenders have been unable to get their funds back, and risks have begun to spill over. Relevant departments organized relevant experts and scholars, industry practitioners, personnel from local financial regulatory agencies and relevant central ministries and commissions to hold several meetings in Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Guangzhou, cities where online lending platforms are concentrated. Discuss the drafting of the interim measures for the management of business activities of online lending information intermediaries, draft for comments. Xiao Fang was invited to participate in these meetings. During the meetings, everyone summarized the 5 major problems facing the current situation of online loan platforms. First, there is a lack of necessary risk control. Many operators of online lending platforms have no experience in the industry and lack management capabilities. From time to time, incidents such as operators running away with money have occurred, seriously affecting the confidence of market participants and the reputation of the industry. And the security protection of network information systems of many online loan platforms is fragile and vulnerable to hackers and other attacks, and there are potential security risks of customer funds and information being stolen. Second, there is a lack of necessary rules. Online lending platforms in various places aim to provide accessible and convenient inclusive financial services to most classes and groups in society, further realizing low-cost, high-efficiency, and popularization of small-amount investment and financing activities, and providing a platform for mass entrepreneurship. In the name of providing financial security, Wanzhong innovation has developed rapidly, but the relevant laws and regulations are obviously lagging behind, and there is no unified industry standard. The third is illegal operation beyond the scope. Many online loan platforms violate the characteristics of their own information intermediaries and provide implicit guarantees for customer loans. They transform from information intermediaries into credit intermediaries and privately establish fund pools and misappropriate funds under various names and means. Customer funds have hidden dangers such as credit risk and liquidity risk, which affect the order of the financial market and social stability. Fourth, there is a lack of necessary supervision. The main body of industry supervision is not fully implemented and unclear, and there is a lack of effective supervisory measures and means. As a result, many online loan platforms wander between legality and illegality, borrowing network concepts to package themselves, and are suspected of false propaganda and engaging in illegal fundraising activities such as illegally absorbing public deposits harm the interests of the public. Fifth, there is a lack of a sound external environment, and the imperfect credit system construction and consumer protection mechanisms in the online lending industry have become increasingly obvious obstacles to the healthy development of the industry. After several discussions, everyone first made it clear that online lending refers to direct lending between individuals through the internet platform, which is known to the public as P2P individual online lending. It belongs to the category of private lending and is governed by laws such as contract law and the general principles of civil law. Regulations and relevant judicial interpretation norms of the Supreme People's Court. It is clarified that online lending business uses the internet as the main channel to provide borrowers and lenders with services such as information collection, information disclosure, credit assessment, information exchange, and loan matching for direct lending. Clarify that online lending information intermediaries, online lending platforms, refer to financial information service intermediaries established in accordance with the law and specializing in online lending business. They are essentially information intermediaries, not credit intermediaries. Therefore, they are not allowed to accept public deposits or pool funds for establishment. Capital pool, shall not provide any form of guarantee to the lender, etc. Xiaofang attended meetings one after another, but her heart went from enthusiasm at the beginning to helplessness, cooling down and some disappointment at the end. She feels that the relevant departments are too preconceived, and in the current environment, mass entrepreneurship and innovation are regarded as a basket, and everything is put into it. When online loan platforms are also put into this basket, encouragement and support it has become politically correct. Either we do not fully understand its harmfulness, or we are consciously avoiding it. Xiaofang was anxious and even said with some sadness and indignation at the meeting, "I can guarantee that what we are formulating now will most likely be obsolete on the day it is launched. But in reality, it won't take long, it will slap us hard in the face. I hope everyone will not blush because of it." At such a meeting and making such a speech, the participants unanimously believed that Xiaofang was naive, had the air of an expert and scholar, was too romantic, naive, and idealistic, and did not know that slow things down would lead to smoother things. Such a wide-ranging management method cannot be achieved overnight. Since it is a draft for comments, it can be modified as you go. Lian Xiaofang has been calling for one of the 5 major problems that everyone summarized when summarizing the current situation, the construction of the credit system in the online lending industry. In the end, it was ignored and no one took it seriously. Representatives from the central bank expressed opposition to Xiaofang's proposal to be included in the central bank's credit reporting system. They believed that since online lending platforms do not belong to financial institutions and their business does not accept the guidance of the central bank, how can they be included in the credit reporting system of financial institutions? If this is the case, it means that we have to provide more than 3,000 platforms with access to the credit reporting system. These platforms are still shut down, which brings great hidden dangers to the management of the system and the security of related information. Xiaofang settled for the next best thing. She suggested that the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology or other administrative departments should immediately establish a unified credit reporting system for all online lending platforms. We also discussed this issue, but in the end there was no result. The biggest problem is that such a system, from establishment to daily management after completion, requires huge investment. With this budget, no department can do anything about it now. Arrangement, and there is no corresponding staffing. After discussion but no decision, the problem that needed to be solved most immediately became one of the items to be done in the future. Xiaofang kept shaking her head, but she was helpless. She finally understood how a good book could be read incorrectly. Xiaofang felt the same excitement when she reported to the comrades in charge in Beijing. After several meetings and compromises and concessions, she finally calmed down and felt powerless. She drew her sword and looked around at a loss. There was a fire in her heart, but she didn't know who she should direct the fire at. The last meeting was held in Guangzhou. The Guangzhou meeting finally confirmed the overall principles for the supervision of the online lending industry. The first is to focus on market self-discipline, supplemented by administrative supervision. Online lending is a product of the market economy. We must adhere to the market orientation, combine self-discipline with other disciplines, give full play to the role of online lending market subject autonomy, industry self-discipline, and social supervision, stimulate market vitality, promote the healthy development of the online lending industry, and guide its better meet the investment and financing needs of small and micro enterprises, innovative enterprises, and ordinary people. The second is to focus on behavioral supervision, supplemented by institutional supervision. Online lending institutions are essentially information intermediaries, not credit intermediaries, but the online lending business they carry out is financial information intermediary business, involving financial financing and related risk management. The supervision of online lending business focuses on the formulation and improvement of basic business rules, rather than the approval of institutions and businesses. Supervisory departments should focus on strengthening interim and ex post supervision to protect the legitimate rights and interests of relevant parties. The third is to adhere to bottom-line thinking and implement negative list management. Define the boundaries of the online lending business through a negative list, clarify 12 prohibited behaviors that online lending institutions cannot engage in, provide support and protection to online lending businesses and innovative activities that comply with laws and regulations, and prohibit illegal fundraising in the name of online lending. Illegal financial activities will be resolutely cracked down on and banned. Strengthen information disclosure, improve risk monitoring, and maintain the bottom line of preventing regional systemic risks. The fourth is to implement division of labor, collaboration, and coordinated supervision. Give full play to the role of relevant national administrative departments, local people's governments, and industry self-regulatory organizations in the online lending business to promote relevant entities to perform their duties in accordance with the law, strengthen communication and collaboration, and form a regulatory synergy. Faced with such a meeting resolution, Xiaofang could only sigh secretly. She couldn't keep it. She told herself, "You think this can keep the bottom line of preventing regional systemic risks, but it is simply impossible." In the end, everyone the bottom line will be broken one by one. In the financial industry, if you place your hope on industry self-discipline, it is tantamount to complete indulgence. Again, it's the same all over the world. Even formal financial institutions would be desperate if there weren't constant whips from regulatory authorities, let alone these online lending platforms. Xiaofang feels that within a few years, this industry will become a cancer parasitic on the body of society, and it will be impossible to remove it without heavy action. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng returned to Hangzhou from Guangzhou. Zhang Chen came to pick them up at the airport. Zhang Chen saw Xiaofang feeling depressed and asked her what was wrong. Xiaofang told Zhang Chen about her participation in the meeting. Zhang Chen thought for a while and asked, "Do you want me to tell Li Yong about the situation?" "It's useless. It would be great if he or Uncle Lu could make the final decision on this matter, but unfortunately not. They are not in charge of this industry. If they talk too much, like me, they will become annoying." Xiaofang sighed and said, "I was so earnest in person that I almost started arguing with them, but it was of no use. Now, hey, they are still thinking about mass entrepreneurship and innovation, and they still focus on encouragement and support. When it is time to put the brakes on, there is no people are willing to put the brakes on, but for an opponent like me, my opinions are only for reference. I am indeed too naive." Xiaofang did not go home directly. Instead, she and Zhao Zheng followed Zhang Chen to Zhang Chen's office. She sat down at the conference table, opened her laptop, turned around and asked Zhang Chen, "Dear, that Mr. Huang you are talking about, is their platform 88 Finance?" Zhang Chen was right. "Why do you ask this?" "I want to pay 50,000 yuan to go in," Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen was confused and asked, "Didn't you say this is unreliable? Why do you still pay for it? Aren't you afraid of becoming a meat bun?" Xiaofang looked at him and said, "I just think it's unreliable. You can't feel the risk just from outside. I thought about it on the plane. I want to find 10 platforms and give them 50,000 yuan each, put the money in, so that if there is any trouble, I can know immediately. I told you, if this thing happens, it must be a systemic event." Zhang Chen nodded and understood. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng said, "In your name?" Zhao Zheng said yes, and she found her ID card from her bag. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng were doing this. Zhang Chen was watching from the side. He laughed and asked, "What does this matter have to do with your company? Even if these platforms are popular, it won't affect you, right?" "It doesn't matter," Xiaofang said angrily, "I'm just not convinced. I want to verify that my judgment is correct, okay?" Zhang Chen said yes, but the maximum loss would be 500,000. "Yes, our money has already been paid in, and now it has something to do with us," Xiaofang said, and both Zhang Chen and Zhao Zheng laughed. "Thank you ZDLM001 for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Hu, Lin Du's Hifu, the flame of morality, wandering idlers, Wahaji, my heart falls for you, romantic cherry blossoms, Lao Shenza Sang, Tony Qi, Prince Yao Sun, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Frivolous, Dream Flying Toad, Luji, Pyo Xiaofan, Tian Wei Wei Wei, He Shi Yi Tan, Book Friends 201912170332388847, Reader 11844471796111032232, Huanya Cold Eyes, Crush Killer VIP, Major 7, Zero Clear, Extraordinary Guest Chang Fei, Quadratic Power VC, Book Friends 1611222135017999. Book Friends 201809062232204934, 8 Liang, Free Rain and Clear Sky, Void Broken Dreams, Tai Zhongshang 1, Wu Family Courtyard, Fighting and Jade Silk, Empty and Empty, Fan Pei's Journey to the West, HGX, Zhao 1017, Qingjing Liuvi 2012, and How, W Yuanlei I is your W, Zipanjiang 1, very attentive 333 monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1865. Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Wu Ziyawai. Zhang Chen quickly picked it up. As soon as the call came through, Wu Ziyawai shouted, "Mr. Zhang, Xiao Wu and the people here are about to start a fight. Come here quickly." Zhang Chen was shocked and asked, "What's going on?" "I can't explain in 2 or 3 sentences. Come here quickly." "I'm at your Jibao logistics base now," Wu Ziyawai said. Zhang Chen asked, "Where is Xiao Wu?" "He went out with a dozen people. I was afraid something would happen, so I called you." Zhang Chen said, "Okay, Wu Ziyawai, I will come right away and you will wait for me at the logistics base." Putting down the phone, Xiao Fang asked, "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen told her Wu Ziyawai's phone number. Xiao Fang was shocked when she heard it and shouted, "I'll go with you." Zhang Chen quickly said, No, just go home and rest, I'll be there. If anything happens, I'll call you." After Zhang Chen finished speaking, he said to Zhao Zheng, "Send Xiao Fang home." Zhao Zheng said yes. Zhang Chen walked out and entered the elevator. When the elevator went down, Zhang Chen called Xiao Wu. The call went through, but was pressed down immediately. It seemed that Xiao Wu didn't want to answer it, or it was inconvenient to answer it. Zhang Chen drove the car and walked towards Jibao, while still thinking about Wu Ziyawai's call just now. Xiao Wu and someone are going to fight. Who will it be with? Xiao Wu would not usually be so impulsive. Ever since the last time when Mr. Fang, the mahjong-faced man, led people upstairs to the dynamic zone to find Lu Ligan, Xiao Wu had done something with them. I had never heard of anyone he had done anything with. Pass. Usually in the logistics space, there are so many disciples and disciples under him. Even if something happens, he does not need to take action. On the contrary, he is always the one to break up the fight. Wu Ziyawai said that he went out with more than a dozen people, so he was not in the logistics space. Where did he go? Zhang Chen was driving the car, but he still couldn't help it. After his mobile phone got in the car, it would automatically connect to the car phone via Bluetooth. Zhang Chen used the buttons on the steering wheel to select Xiao Wu on the screen and dialed. The phone beeped. After making a sound, he was still pressed down. This was something that had never happened to Xiao Wu. In the past, Xiao Wu would answer his phone no matter what the circumstances. Zhang Chen stepped on the accelerator and the car accelerated forward. He drove to the gate of their Jibao logistics base and saw Wu Ziyawai's car parked at the gate. Wu Ziyawai was sitting in the car. When he saw Zhang Chen's car approaching, he pressed down the window, waved to Zhang Chen and said, "Mr. Zhang, get in my car and let's go." Zhang Chen parked his car next to the security duty room, got out of the car and walked to Wu Ziyawai's car, pulled out the passenger seat and got in, and asked, "Where are we going?" "This Xiao Wu, he doesn't even answer my phone calls. He wants to handle it by himself and not let you get involved in this matter. In fact, the conflict has been going on for a long time," Wu Ziyawai said. With whom, and because of what, there was no answer to one question, and Zhang Chen had a new question. At this time, Wu Ziyawai drove out of the gate. He pointed to the left and said to Zhang Chen, "There are conflicts with them. It should be said that they are looking for trouble with you. Since they started building houses here, there have been conflicts. First, it was because of this road. This road is on your land and was built by you. Logically speaking, they should have built another road, but they didn't, so they opened the door on this road." Wu Ziyawai was referring to a newly opened warehouse diagonally across from them. The operation method and building layout of this warehouse are similar to theirs. They also built warehouses for rent, but the scale is only 1/10 the size of Zhang Chen's logistic space. Sorry. It calls itself a logistic space, but it is called Jubeo New Material Warehouse. Wu Ziyai drove his car and passed the entrance of the 9 Fort Construction New Materials Warehouse. He did not go in, but continued to move forward. Zhang Chen looked at him, and Wu Ziyai said, "Let's go to the Xiaosha Expressway exit." Xiao Wu took people there. "What are you going there for?" Zhang Chen asked. "Stealing people and cars," Wu Ziyai said. Wu Ziyai told Zhang Chen while driving that Zhang Chen finally understood what had happened. It turned out that Xiao Wu and his men went to the Xiaosha Expressway exit to rob 2 trucks belonging to one of their Shandong customers. This customer rents their cold storage for a long time and sells ginger and garlic. Their 2 trucks transporting ginger and garlic were detained at the exit of the expressway by people from the Jubeo New Material Warehouse as soon as they got off the expressway. The reason why they want to seize the cars of Shandong customers is very simple, that is, they want to steal their customers. After the Jubeo New Material Warehouse was built, because it was smaller than Zhang Chen's logistic space, all supporting facilities were not as good as Zhang Chen's logistic space, and the rent was still higher than Zhang Chen's. In addition, at this time, it's almost the end of the year, and no one will come to rent a warehouse now. Without tenants, they tried to find ways to poach customers from Zhang Chen and their logistic space. If they couldn't poach customers, they relied on their position. It was diagonally opposite Zhang Chen and their logistic space. All trucks going to the logistic space had to pass through first. They set up a cart at the entrance of their warehouse, but Xiao Wu and his men rushed into it. They came up with a way to use a broken Jinbei truck at the entrance of the warehouse to collide with the trucks entering and leaving Zhang Chen's logistic space, making the vehicles entering and leaving the logistic space trembling with fear. Today they are saying that this Shandong customer hit their car a few days ago and has not yet compensated, so they blocked the highway exit and will impound the Shandong customer's car if they are blocked. They didn't dare block the door here. Even if they were blocked here, Xiao Wu and the others would still be robbed back in the end if there were many people. Shouldn't the traffic police handle such matters? Zhang Chen said. Wu Ziyai glanced at Zhang Chen and said, "This is not a city road, it is the internal passage of your company. The traffic police will not care about the accidents that happen here." "What about 110? 110 doesn't care," Zhang Chen asked. Wu Ziyai didn't answer. After a while, he said to Zhang Chen, "Things are not that simple. Mr. Zhang, you have to be careful. Your logistic space is here, and Xiao Wu is here. How stupid are the farmers in Jubeo? They don't dare to come to you. Why do these people dare? Their origins, it's definitely not small either." Wu Ziyai's words reminded Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen asked, "Whose land did they rent from?" "This area is all the land of the provincial military region, including the clothing market next door, and the land rented is also the land of the provincial military region," Wu Ziyai said. "They have a good relationship?" Zhang Chen asked. "Either with the provincial military region, or with the local villages, otherwise they wouldn't be so arrogant," Wu Ziyai snorted. "Before I come to mess with you, people must have known about you." Before they reached the exit of the Xiaosha Expressway, the road was blocked. The road they drove on was originally supposed to be the road to the expressway, but now it was divided into 2, with half of it giving way to vehicles coming off the expressway, while the opposite side was originally the road to the expressway. There was not a single car on the expressway. Looking at the intersection ahead, there were many people and cars blocked, including a police car with its lights flashing. Wu Ziyai turned from a gap to the opposite road, and drove in the opposite direction. Before they got closer, they saw 2 trucks that had just gotten off the highway blocked there, surrounded by 7 or 8 cars. Zhang Chen and Wu Ziyai saw a dozen people on their side standing on the road, and on the other side, there were also more than a dozen people stood there, facing each other. Fortunately, the fight hadn't started yet, so Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. There was a traffic policeman directing the cars coming out of the toll station to divert them to the opposite lane. There was a traffic policeman standing between Xiao Wu and another person. There were also traffic policemen who, when they saw their cars coming, they signaled them to stop and shouted at them. Wu Zaiyi pressed down the car window and said to the traffic police, "Our boss is here to handle this matter." The traffic policeman looked at Zhang Chen, stopped talking, and asked them to pass. Wu Zaiyi drove the car to a stop behind the pile of cars, and the two people got out of the car and walked over. Wu Zaiyi knew the traffic policeman standing between Xiao Wu and the other party. He called him Captain Ling. Wu Zaiyi and the others were couriers and knew almost every district traffic police team in Hangzhou and all the captains, big and small. Wu Zaiyi called Captain Ling aside, took out a cigarette and lit it for him, and asked him, "What's going on? We can't figure out what happened. They said it was an accident a few days ago. No one from us was present at the scene. They are now talking about their own reasons. I asked them to get out of the way first and make way for me. What's the matter? Let's go to the office to handle the matter, but these two idiots won't do it," Captain Ling scolded. "It's really stupid," Wu Zaiyi said. Zhang Chen walked towards Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu was stunned for a moment when he saw him. Then he looked at Wu Zaiyi. He understood and knew that it was Wu Zaiyi who called him over. He nodded towards Zhang Chen. "There is no need to ask any more questions, as no more questions will come out." Zhang Chen did not speak to Xiao Wu, but asked the man standing face to face with Xiao Wu, "What's your surname?" The man snorted, "Who do you think you are? Why should I tell you my last name?" Wu Zaiyi said, "He is the boss of the logistics base opposite you. Is he qualified enough to handle things?" The man looked at Zhang Chen, then at Xiao Wu, and said nothing. Zhang Chen said to him, "Look at our two units, they are facing each other. If we have something to do, we can go back to your place or our place. What can be solved by blocking the road here? Get out of the way first." "Yes, Mr. Zhang is right. The accident you mentioned also happened there. If you want to deal with it, just go back and deal with it. Although that place is not under our jurisdiction, we can help you mediate if you need it," Captain Ling said. The man said, "Yes, it's okay to drive away, but we must let us drive away these two trucks." "Impossible," Xiao Wu said, "Whoever dares to move, I will remove his arms. If you don't believe me, you can try it." Two Shandong drivers said on the side, "Our two cars have been delayed here for several hours, waiting to unload. Besides, it's not our cars that hit you, we are just delivering goods to them. If you are looking for them, you are looking for them, and they should not cause trouble for us. The car is not yours. The goods on it are always theirs. If we can't find anyone, we will confiscate the goods," the man shouted. Captain Ling and Zhang Chen also understood at this time. Captain Ling asked Xiao Wu, "Isn't the car you mentioned earlier that had the accident one of these two?" Xiao Wu said no. Captain Ling glared at the man and said, "Aren't you guys fooling around? Why are you blocking these two cars? What does these two cars have to do with the accident you mentioned? In a word, the goods are unloaded and the car can go," the man insisted. "How can this be justified?" Zhang Chen said, "They are just delivering goods. What right do they have to unload the goods to you? They don't want to compensate the owner of the goods if they give it to you. If you have any conflicts with the owner of the goods, go to the owner of the goods. In this way, if you can't find the owner of the cargo, you can contact me. If the matter is clarified and it is indeed the responsibility of the cargo owner, but the cargo owner refuses to take responsibility, I will take the responsibility, okay? That's all right. I think it's all right with Mr. Zhang's statement like this," Captain Ling said. "It's none of your business," the man glared at Captain Ling and cursed, "You are a little deputy squadron leader, Don't give me instructions here, it's useless even for you Captain Su to come here. Captain Ling's face turned red and white, and he stared at the man angrily. Jiang Chen looked at the man and asked, according to what you mean, I understand. You are not here to solve the problem today, but to find trouble, right? So what? Jiang Chen nodded, okay, I don't care who is behind you. If you want to cause trouble, we will make it big and make it big news. When it gets bigger, everyone will sit on the table to solve it, and let the people behind you, that person will come out if he has the guts, and by that time, even if he can't figure it out, it won't work. Jiang Chen turned around and said to Xiao Wu, let our car get out of the way first. You get on the big truck and drive forward. If there is a car blocking the way, just hit it. If there are people blocking it, let our car go. People open them, I will be responsible for everything, and I will be responsible for the losses. Wu Zaiwai, you help me drive another truck, the same thing. Xiao Wu and Wu Zaiwai both agreed. Thank you for your monthly votes from Zongkai 727, Donkey Kong, Lin Bullet in Hungary, Little Gatekeeper, Fantasy in the Wind, Lulu 6717 P11, FMC 196804424, Nevin Moore, Dong Long Dong, and Deji Lao. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1866. Xiao Wu jumped on the truck and started the car. One of their own vans blocking the front of the truck had already driven away. The driver of the other two cars quickly drove away before the person could tell him. They all know Xiao Wu, and they know that Xiao Wu can do things like car crashes. As for fighting, they are no match for the other party. Looking at the dozen or so people Xiao Wu brought, they know that they have all been trained. We cannot afford this immediate loss. His men retreated first. The guy was a little panicked. He glared at Jiang Chen and said, don't think you're pulling me, we'll wait and see. He got into a car and drove off with his men. Jiang Chen and the others returned to the logistics base. From a distance, they saw two trucks and their goods returning intact. The Shandong boss came out of the rented cold storage and held Xiao Wu's hand. Say thank you, thank you. Xiao Wu said it's okay, you're the one who's been looking for you, and you can't hide. Xiao Wu said to the truck driver, after unloading the goods, tell the guard before leaving. Our people will take you to the highway. The two truck drivers nodded and said yes. Jiang Chen, Wu Zaiwai and Xiao Wu walked to Xiao Wu's office. Jiang Chen asked Xiao Wu how long they had been here looking for trouble. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Xiao Wu smiled and said, if you have anything to say, I will handle it myself. I told you, you come to help fight? If you want to fight, I will fight. In the logistics space, it is normal for people to come looking for trouble. They can be found all over the country. It's almost the same. The markets in our various places are also created. Wu Zaiwai and Jiang Chen said, your people even helped me fight. This is not the answer. If they are always staring at you like leeches, how can you do business well? Jiang Chen said, what do these people want to do? The warehouses were built and there was no one to rent them, so they wanted to buy and sell them by force. They wanted to force our tenants to rent their warehouses. Xiao Wu said, it turns out that things are happening on this road at the door. I warned them the day before yesterday that if they do things here again, believe it or not, I will seal your door. This road is originally ours. They had no choice but to seal their door and not let them in or out. That's why they didn't dare to make trouble here and ran to the highway exit. It's okay, Brother Chen. Wherever they make trouble, I will accompany them. Let's see how long they can make trouble. Do you know what this guy's last name is and where he is from? Jiang Chen asked. It seems that his surname is Wu, from Chun'an. Xiao Wu said. If I go, it's from the next county. Jiang Chen cursed. The female owner of the fabric market in front and the hardware market next to it seems to be this guy's cousin or some relative, Xiao Wu and Zhang Chen said. No wonder this bastard is so arrogant. Wu Ziyawai cursed and Zhang Chen nodded. It seemed that what Wu Ziyawai said before was right. This guy still had some background. Those who could open such a large-scale market in Hangzhou were not ordinary people. This fabric market in Jubeo should be the same one as the Sijiking fabric market on Kaiyudao Road that Zhang Chen often went to before. This fabric market is built here, and there are also a large area of clothing markets, bags, shoes, and hats around it. The market is to respond to the Hangzhou city government's call for Eastern development. Because it is close to the new bus station in Hangzhou, the original purpose of building this large market of various types was to relocate the Sijiking clothing market in the Hanghai Road and Xinjiang Road areas. But after these markets were built, the original stall owners of Sijiking clothing market also rented stalls here. Unfortunately, after the market opened, there were no customers at all. Those customers who came to Hangzhou from all over to buy goods were still used to it. Go to Lao Sijiking, the business here is better than that of Lao Sijiking market. For this reason, all the business owners refused to move here and stayed in the Sijiking old market. There are more than a dozen markets involving thousands of merchants, and the Sijiking brand took decades to create. No one dares to let this brand be smashed in their own hands. Not only that, if Sijiking falls, about half of the GDP of Jianghan district will be gone, and the development of the East will turn into killing the East. Seeing this situation, the local government also felt guilty. The entire relocation work of Sijiking market was put on hold. No one knew when the relocation would take place. Old Sijiking continues to be prosperous, but here, there are still crowds at the door, and merchants are asking to surrender their leases. Those who invested in building a market here originally wanted to make a lot of money, but now they have turned into a bunch of people. Trouble. Zhang Chen could even imagine that this Jubeo new material warehouse must be related to the boss of the fabric market in front of him. Maybe she is the real boss here. The market is not profitable. Seeing that their logistics space is making money, they come here. I came to build a warehouse, but I didn't expect that after the warehouse was built, no one would rent it. So I jumped over the wall in a hurry and resorted to all kinds of dirty tricks. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu said, if it is possible, it is best to see if there is any possibility of cooperation between the two parties. The two families are facing each other and are neighbors after all. It is best to be harmonious and make money. It's impossible. They came to me first. I told them that our warehouse here is basically rented out. If there are customers, I can help them introduce them. There are indeed two customers. I introduced them, but their price is too high. Xiao Wu said, smiling bitterly and shaking his head. As a result, when these two customers came back, they definitely asked me to rent a place to them. At that time, weren't the M-Zone customers moving back? When there was space available, I rented it to them. These guys knew it. Instead, they blame our rent for being too cheap, saying that we have stolen their customers, and they ask us to increase the price. How can we increase the price? I told them that we are basically long-term customers here. The annual rent increase was agreed upon by both parties when we first signed the agreement. It is not that we can increase it as much as we want. There is no need to discuss this matter. As a result, they insist that our cheap rent has influenced them and they are here to cause trouble. Zhang Chen sighed and said, then there is no other way but to let them go. The three people were talking when they heard a siren outside coming closer and closer, until they stopped in front of the building. The three people looked at each other, and they all felt that the siren should be related to what happened just now. Wu Ziyawai thought, Captain Ling and the others are following. He stood up and said, I gonna go see. Before Wu Ziyawai walked out of the door, 4 or 5 policemen walked in from outside. The leading policeman looked at the three of them and asked, who is the person in charge here? Xiao Wu said, I am. There are reports from the public that there are criminal activities involving evil forces here. Please cooperate with us and come with us, the leading policeman said. Xiao Wu said yes, and he stood up and prepared to follow them. Zhang Chen's heart moved, and he immediately thought that Xiao Wu was a person who came back from the northwest and had a criminal record. No matter what, these policemen looked at Xiao Wu. People like them always have the first idea. When the same sentence comes out of Xiao Wu's mouth, and when it comes out of his own mouth, the other party's level of trust is definitely different. In addition, it is still rumored in the society that if someone like Xiao Wu enters the police station, it is very likely that they will give you a meal first, no matter what, and Xiao Wu, how can he be the kind of person who is willing to do so? People who live their lives will fight with them even in the police station. In that case, the matter will be serious and you will suffer a lot. Zhang Chen thought to himself, Xiao Wu can't go with them no matter what, so he should go with them by himself. If he goes by himself, nothing like this will happen. We don't even know where the evil forces are suspected of being suspected of evil forces. Zhang Chen stretched out his hand to stop Xiao Wu. He said to the policeman, if you need to know anything about the situation, just ask me and I will go with you. Who are you? The policeman asked. I am the legal person of BusinessManagement Group, and this logistics space is under our group, Zhang Chen said. The policeman looked at his colleague next to him, then at Zhang Chen, and nodded. Are you a legal person? Okay, we are looking for a legal person. Come with us. When Xiao Wu heard this, he hurriedly shouted, this place and BusinessManagement Group are two different things. I should go with you. Zhang Chen glared at Xiao Wu and cursed, are you the boss or am I the boss? Zhang Chen winked at Wu Zaiyi at the same time. Wu Zaiyi immediately understood. He pulled Xiao Wu and said, it's better to let Mr. Zhang go. Mr. Zhang made it clear. Zhang Chen followed several police officers and arrived outside the building. There were 2 police cars parked at the door. The police asked Zhang Chen to go to the back car. Zhang Chen walked over and naturally wanted to sit in the passenger seat. Someone pushed him behind him. Cried impatiently. Back, back. Zhang Chen was a little confused. He walked to the back seat, opened the door and sat in. A policeman followed him in. Zhang Chen had no choice but to move over there. The car door over there also opened, and the other car door opened. A policeman sat in, and the 2 policemen squeezed Zhang Chen in the middle. Zhang Chen's heart skipped a beat. With this situation, he suddenly felt that things seemed to be as simple as understanding the situation without asking him to cooperate. Being pinched by 2 policemen on one side and the other on the right, Zhang Chen thought to himself, all he needed was a pair of handcuffs. Then, he would really be a gangster. Zhang Chen was a little panicked. He stretched out his hand to take out the mobile phone in his pocket. His hand was immediately grabbed by a policeman. Zhang Chen struggled for a while but couldn't get free. He shouted, I need to make a phone call. We'll tell you what you want to do when the time comes, the policeman scolded. Wu Zaiyi and Xiao Wu chased him out. Wu Zaiyi held Zhang Chen's bag in his hand. He rushed to the car where Zhang Chen was sitting. The leading police officer outside the car stopped him. Wu Zaiyi said, this is Mr. Zhang's bag. Give it to me, the policeman said without any explanation, and took Zhang Chen's bag from Wu Zaiyi's hand. He walked to the passenger seat, opened the door and sat in. Hey, where are we going now? I need to call and talk to the company. By the way, do we need our company's legal advisor to be present? Zhang Chen said to the leading policeman. Have you watched too many Hong Kong movies? The policeman next to him cursed. The leading policeman ignored Zhang Chen and didn't even turn his head. Instead, he said to the policeman in the driver's seat, let's go. 2 police cars sounded their sirens and drove away. Thank you, Your Majesty, for your reward of 2 fishes. Thank you QTDJP, Luoluo Wuchan One Flower One World, Green Pu Ecological Home Ecological Wood, Zipazii, Jagged Rape, Humor Tribe, Book Friends 201901180252243114, Book Friends 1502160133302826, Wahaji, Zizhib, Wonkingsi, Lao Chantang, Book Friends 2020110911135193, Yunlong Frogfish, Major 7, Kingbo, Zi Zhang said, Polar Bear 2018 Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1867. Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai stood there, watching the two police cars disappear from their sight. Both of them thought this was a bit strange. They followed out and watched Zhang Chen being taken into the car. The two of them and Zhang Chen all the same, they all have a very bad feeling, and they also feel that this battle is not as simple as calling someone over to understand the situation. If that's the case, usually it's just one car, and one or two policemen are enough, but why so many people are needed? Let's go to Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai said. Where to go? Wu Ziyawai asked. Go to the police station, Xiao Wu said, let's go there and take a look. If anything happens, we can find someone to help. Yes, take my car and go, Wu Ziyawai woke up and shouted. The two people got in the car and drove out of the gate of the logistics park. The two police cars had long disappeared. They hurried to the Jibao police station. When they arrived at the Jibao police station, the two people entered the lobby. They didn't know where Zhang Chen would be taken, so they had to walk along the corridor and search offices one by one. They searched all the offices on the left but could not find Zhang Chen. Someone saw them poking their heads at the door and asked them what they were doing. Wu Ziyawai quickly said he was looking for someone. Someone from our unit was brought here to learn about the situation. Is this an inquiry? I still understand the situation, the man said. Wu Ziyawai didn't bother to argue and said quickly, yes, ask. The man shook his head and said, then you go to the hall and ask, there is none here. The two of them walked back to the hall. A police officer came in from outside the door. When he saw Xiao Wu, he called him Mr. Wu. Xiao Wu looked at him and felt that he was familiar, but he couldn't remember his name. Seeing that Xiao Wu didn't recognize him at first, the police officer said, I am a fellow countryman of Sun Qiuqing, and I even went to your place to practice. When the other party said this, Xiao Wu remembered that Sun Qiuqing was a security guard at their logistics base. He had a fellow villager who worked as a co-op at Jibao police station. When he had nothing to do, he went to their training hall a few times, and that was the person in front of him. Aaron. President Wu, what are you doing here? Aaron asked. Xiao Wu told him that he was looking for someone, and he told Aaron roughly what happened. Aaron was surprised, and he said, it doesn't seem like there is one. I'm on duty all afternoon. Wait, I'll ask. Aaron walked to the service window in the lobby, reached out and hit the counter with a snap, which frightened the two police officers inside, a man and a woman. The woman looked up and saw Aaron, and cursed. Are you looking for death? Hey, who's going to the logistics base in Ban Mu Tian to take care of people today? Aaron asked. The ghost is gone, he replied inside. Aaron looked a little further into the corridor on the right and asked, is there anyone there? Yes, it's the old man who was caught from the station at noon, he replied. Aaron turned around and said to Xiao Wu, Mr. Wu, are you mistaken? There is no one here. Oh, just one, a thief. He should not be the person you are looking for. As he said that, he led Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai to walk into the corridor, and walked to the door of a detention room with a locked door and an iron gate. The three of them looked inside. Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai saw a person inside. The handcuffs were cuffed to a water pipe mounted on the wall. The man squatted there with his head on his arms and fell asleep. "We only have such a treasure here," Aaron and Xiao Wu said. "By the way, what specific crime did Mr. Zhang you mentioned commit?" "Nothing happened," Xiao Wu said angrily. Wu Ziyawai remembered it and said, "By the way, could it be at the Xiaosha police station? Didn't the previous incident happen at the Xiaosha expressway exit? It should belong to the Xiaosha pipeline, not Jibao." Both Wu Ziyawai and Xiao Wu believed that the reason why the police came to them should be related to today's events. The so-called people reported, and the people who reported the reports were most likely the same guys who were involved in the 9 Forts building a new material warehouse. Those guys, he was so angry as he watched 2 cars drive away from him, that he thought of this bad move. There are 2 police stations in Xiaosha, one is the Development Zone Police Station and the other is the Xiaosha Town Police Station. Which one will it be? Aaron asked them. Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai looked at each other. They couldn't tell which police station Zhang Chen would be taken to. Aaron looked at his watch and said to Xiao Wu, "I'll accompany you there. I have acquaintances at both police stations." Xiao Wu quickly said thank you. They first went to the Xiaosha Town Police Station, but no one was found. Then they went to the Development Zone Police Station, but there was no one either. The three of them were all surprised. Wu Ziyawai asked, "Could they have been taken to some police station?" "Impossible. Didn't you say that 2 police cars came?" "Where can there be 2 police cars in the police room?" Aaron said. "With such a large number of people, they are probably going to the branch. Let's go to the branch to look for them first." They immediately went to the Development Zone branch, but found no one. They came out of the Development Zone branch and then went to Jianghan branch. Jianghan branch is in the city, over Jingfang Road, more than half an hour away from here. Aaron and them said, "There will be trouble next." "What's wrong?" Xiao Wu asked. "If there is no branch here, you have to go to Jianghan District branch. Jianghan branch is different from here. They are all in the same building. Their Criminal Investigation Brigade, Public Security Brigade and Economic Investigation Brigade are all separate and in different places. Also, if Mr. Zhang committed the crime somewhere else, he might not be in the Jianghan branch, and it would be possible for him to be brought by other branch offices," Aaron told them. When Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai heard this, they felt that the matter was serious. It was almost evening. Aaron gave them some advice and said, "Don't run blindly first, otherwise when you arrive, people will also get off work. It's better to find connections first, contact them by phone, find out where they are, and then think of ways to lure them. Otherwise, if it's too late, Mr. Zhang he was sent to the detention center first." Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai were startled and looked at Aaron. Aaron quickly comforted them and said, "Of course, if the matter is not serious, it is possible that by the time you rush back to the city, Mr. Zhang will have been released. By the way, Mr. Wu, try calling Mr. Zhang first to see if his mobile phone can be reached." Xiao Wu quickly dialed Zhang Chen's mobile phone, and the notification tone on the mobile phone said that the user had turned off his phone. Aaron's brows furrowed, thinking that if he couldn't even get through on his cell phone, it meant the matter was serious, but he didn't tell Xiao Wu and the others, but said, "Hurry up and find some connections." Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai both felt that Aaron's words were reasonable. They wanted to send Aaron back to Jibao police station and then go to the city. Aaron told them, "Don't worry about me. I'll take the bus back. You take your time and walk quickly." Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyawai said goodbye to Aaron and immediately drove back to the city. On the way, Xiao Wu called Tan Shehen and told her what happened. Tan Shehen was shocked and told Xiao Wu, "I'm in the office, you guys come to my office, come." Xiao Wu said yes. Xiao Wu and Wu Ziyai rushed to Tan Shahan's office at Qiashi Academy. Lao Tan and Xiao Fang were already here. When they saw them coming in, Xiao Fang quickly asked what happened. Xiao Wu told them what happened in the afternoon, and Xiao Fang asked, "Did there be a fight?" Xiao Wu said, "No, it was my business to fight." Xiao Fang, Tan Shahan, and Lao Tan all breathed a sigh of relief. They felt that it was just a quarrel, not a fight, and no one was injured. It was not a big deal. However, although it was not a big deal, the person still has not come back. The mobile phone I can't get through again, which still makes me anxious. Especially after Xiao Wu said that they had gone to the police stations in Xiaosha and Jubeo, but no one was found. Zhang Chen might be in a public security bureau in the city now, and he felt that this matter was a bit strange. If it was just people on both sides. After a few quarrels, according to regulations, at worst, the police will call both parties to the local police station and give them a few words of reprimand. It's better to find the person first. We can't figure out the reason even if we guess here. Think about it, what does the police have to do with it? Tan Shahan said. I asked Lu Qing to help ask, she should be related. Xiao Fang remembered and said. Xiao Fang called Lu Qing and told her the matter urgently. After listening, Lu Qing said to Xiao Fang. Xiao Fang, don't worry. I'll call and ask right away. My uncle is at the Hangzhou City Public Security Bureau. It's okay. I think there must be some misunderstanding here. Brother Zhang hasn't done anything illegal or criminal. I'm afraid what? Xiao Fang said, okay, you can call me and ask, Lu Qing. Several people sat there waiting anxiously. Xiao Fang looked at the clock on the wall and her watch from time to time. She always felt that they were all broken. How could time pass so slowly? She put her mobile phone on the coffee table in front of her and stared at it. After more than 10 minutes, Lu Qing's call finally came back. Xiao Fang grabbed the phone and quickly answered it. Lu Qing said to Xiao Fang. The person was found, not at the branch below, but at the city's criminal investigation detachment. My uncle is on his way from home. What's the specific situation? Xiao Fang, please wait for my call. Xiao Fang said yes. When Lu Qing called Xiao Fang, she had already started to go downstairs, preparing to drive back to Hangzhou immediately, because when her uncle called her earlier, he said something to her, which scared Lu Qing. Her uncle and Lu Qing said that the security detachment took the person away, and now he has been handed over to the criminal investigation detachment. It seems that this matter is not like what you said, and the problem is not small. Yes, if it was a misunderstanding or a simple case, how could it alert the two detachments of the city bureau? Lu Qing felt that this matter was a bit complicated, and she needed to run back to Hangzhou herself to figure it out. However, Lu Qing knew one thing very well. Regardless of whether it was a misunderstanding or not, it was impossible to say that Brother Zhang was connected with some underworld forces. Even if she told her father would not believe it. Lu Qing drove along the Yan'an elevated highway and drove to the outer ring road. Her uncle called again and told Lu Qing that he had arrived at the criminal investigation detachment. Have you seen Mr. Zhang? Lu Qing asked quickly. People saw it and are still interrogating. The uncle was silent for a while and then said, Qing, you'd better leave this matter alone. Why? Lu Qing asked. It's very sensitive. Deputy Director Kui of the Municipal Bureau in charge of criminal investigation is personally investigating this case. I asked, and he told me that it was best for me to shut up and not ask any more questions. The uncle sighed as he spoke, Qing, don't let others take advantage of you. This matter shouldn't be as simple as you said before. Lu Qing didn't know what to say. She could only say, okay, I understand. Thank you hoo for the tip. Thank you hoo. Book Friends 20210630183857013, Lao Chentang, LHJ, Yozazialiu, Cute Cat, Yoingzi, Tamagotchi, Reader 1297873838407110656, LW. Norvi for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1868. Lu Qing continued to drive forward, feeling upset. The car turned onto the Shanghai-Hangzhou Expressway and soon passed through Songjiang and arrived at the Daeun toll station at the junction of Shanghai and Zhejiang. This toll station is known as the largest expressway toll station in Asia. After passing this toll station, you will leave Shanghai and enter Zhejiang. It's Jiashan. After Lu Qing slowed down, he turned the steering wheel to the right, turned the car into the work area next to the toll station, and parked the car in the yard. It was completely dark outside. Lu Qing stretched out her hand to push down the car window a little. The noise and cold wind from the toll station not far behind her rushed in. Lu Qing quickly closed the car window again. Lu Qing sat in the darkness, took a deep breath, and then breathed it out slowly. She rubbed her cheeks with her hands, and then sighed. Her uncle's call kept swirling in her mind, saying that things were not that simple. Lu Qing couldn't understand. It wasn't that simple. What complicated things could happen to Zhang Chen? If Lu Qing were still working as a director at CCTV, she would have no conflict of interest with Zhang Chen. She would definitely call her father Lu Changcheng now. She knows that Lu Changcheng has always had a good impression of Zhang Chen. At this time, he might call back to Hangzhou. Lu Changcheng would definitely not do anything other than help Jiao, but he would call the director of the Hangzhou City Public Security Bureau directly to find out what was going on and what Zhang Chen was involved in. He would still do this. And as long as Lu Changcheng called and asked about the matter, he had objectively helped Zhang Chen. But now, because Lu Qing is at Youth Capital and she is under Xiao Fang, Lu Changcheng will never make this call. Lu Qing knew her father very well. He would be unscrupulous and resolute in matters that had no conflict of interest with him or his family members. But as long as there was the slightest connection, he would be very clear about it, even to the extent that it was abnormal and a bit excessive. The point. This is also the reason why several of Lu Qing's uncles, especially her younger uncle, are very opposed to his father and have almost no contact with him. The younger uncle has been holding back his anger. If this brother-in-law had helped, he wouldn't be where he is now. A director. Even if he doesn't help, as long as he doesn't cause trouble, my uncle feels that with his ability and qualifications, he won't still be a director now, and at least he can get a deputy director. Several times in the past, when Lu Changcheng was still the mayor of Hangzhou, his uncle was about to be promoted by his work unit. When Lu Changcheng found out, he would call their work unit, not to take care of him, but to remind his uncle of their work unit. Boss, please be cautious about your uncle's appointment and think about it again. Even if my uncle feels unfair and comes to him, he can blame it on Lu Changcheng's phone call and ask him to do his brother-in-law's job first. If Mayor Lu doesn't agree, there's nothing we can do. You think so? No. This step was missed, and other people went up. The uncle was still in the same place, and then the steps were missed. He was so angry that he went to Lu Qing's house. Lu Qing heard with his own ears that his uncle and his father were arguing, and the uncle was scolding him. Deo, you are your mayor, I don't ask you to help me, and I don't want to rely on you, so I just ask you to leave me alone, okay? No, Lu Changcheng said to his uncle, it is because I know you that I know whether you are suitable for that position. The Public Security Bureau is the unit I directly contact. If I don't care about their personnel adjustments, I will be derelict in my duty. Then how do you know that others are more suitable than me? The younger uncle yelled. Lu Changcheng said, I don't necessarily know whether others are suitable, but I know that you are definitely not suitable. I know that you are not suitable, but you still don't put forward my opinion. Am I, the mayor, still a competent mayor? The uncle froze there, then slammed the door and left in anger. It wasn't until Lu Changchen was transferred to a neighboring province that my uncle felt that he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. When he was in the unit, from section chief to deputy director, and wanted to continue to move up, he's about the same age, so it's impossible. Because of this, Lu Qing heard her mother say that her uncle would hate her father forever. With such a father, Lu Qing knew that she should never make this call. What also upset Lu Qing was that she knew that Xiao Fang and the others must be waiting for her call. She felt guilty and was afraid of telling Xiao Fang what her uncle said to her on the phone. She knew that if she knows, she will definitely collapse. The best way is to wait until she arrives in Hangzhou and tell her face to face. But on the other hand, Lu Qing is very worried. She knows that time is too important for Zhang Chen now. There are many things. Before the results come out, if you try to change the process, you will get a different result in the end. It's still possible. But if you wait until the result has come out and try to overturn the result, the difficulty will increase a lot. Lu Qing knew that it was very important to find a solution right now. No matter what Zhang Chen was involved in, he had to find a way to intervene as soon as possible. Lu Qing thought of Li Yong. Li Yong also served as the mayor of Hangzhou, and later it is still bullish. It should be said that if he intervenes, it will be even more effective than Lu Changchen. And based on the relationship between Zhang Chen and Li Yong will definitely intervene. Li Yong is also a principled person, but he is not as unreasonable as Lu Changchen. He will at least make a phone call first to find out what happened, and then make a decision. In actual handling, many things can be left or right, loose or tight. Li Yong's phone call can at least ensure that things are impartial. If there is really any misunderstanding in this, he can speed up the clarification of the misunderstanding. Lu Qing even thought about the worst-case scenario. She thought that the worst-case scenario was that if there was no movement in several aspects, the worst thing she could do would be tomorrow morning. She would go to her uncle's work and the city bureau early in the morning. If you ask the director directly in the director's office, he won't drive her away and will definitely be polite to her. She just sat there. If the director didn't tell her the real situation, she wouldn't leave. Anyway, she was not part of the system. Zhang Chen was her friend. It was normal for her to come and inquire about friends' matters, right? After making up her mind, Lu Qing picked up her phone. She took a deep breath and dialed the number. The phone only rang once before being picked up. Xiao Fang asked anxiously, "How's it going, Lu Qing?" Lu Qing told Xiao Fang what her uncle had said to her. When Xiao Fang heard this, she burst into tears and shouted, "How could this happen? What happened? What could happen to him?" Lu Qing was about to cry. She sighed and said, "Xiao Fang, I'm sorry." Xiao Fang knew what Lu Qing meant when she said sorry. Xiao Fang shook her head and said, "I know. Xiao Fang, I'm on my way to Hangzhou. Don't be too anxious. When I arrive in Hangzhou, I will go to the municipal bureau tomorrow to find the director. If he doesn't tell me the truth, I will just sit in his office and won't leave. Xiao Fang, when I hear no, don't worry, the matter will definitely be solved." "Thank you, Lu Qing," Xiao Fang said and hung up the phone. When Xiao Fang answered the phone, Tan Shahen, Lao Tan, Xiao Wu, and Wu Zayawai all looked at her with bated breath. They were startled when they heard Xiao Fang's words. When they saw her crying again, they knew something was wrong. Xiao Fang hung up the phone and told them what Lu Qing told her on the phone. Several people were shocked when they heard it. Lao Tan said, "So serious? Is there anything else? It's impossible. It should be something about the logistics space." Xiao Wu said, "They came to my office not to see Brother Chen. I was going with them. It was Brother Chen who stopped me and said that he was with them. Go, I think Brother Chen is worried that I am, and will be looked at differently by them when I get there. Yes, that's what Mr. Zhang meant. This is the situation. Xiao Wu is right. They really didn't come specifically to see Mr. Zhang. How could there be anything else, Wu Zaiwei said from the side. It made sense to Tan Shahen and Lao Tan. Tan Shahen picked up the phone on the table and said to Xiao Fang, I'll call and ask. Tan Shahen took the phone and walked out. 10 minutes later, she came back. As soon as she entered the door, she shook her head at them and said, Lu Qing is right. I made several calls and called several lines, but I couldn't find out what it was about. It's not that it's not convenient to reveal it, but it's just the same. I was advised not to meddle in other people's business. Xiao Fang sobbed softly as she listened. Tan Shahen quickly walked over and put her arms around Xiao Fang's shoulders. Tan Shahen thought for a while, and she said to Xiao Fang, we need to grab time now, Xiao Fang, I thought about it, now we only have to call Li Yong, and maybe only Li Yong can still help. Xiao Fang raised her head and looked at Tan Shahen, hesitating. She knew that Zhang Chen would definitely object if he knew about it. She said, but he won't agree to us calling Li Yong. Oh, how long has it been? It doesn't matter whether he agrees or not, Tan Shahen shouted, even if he doesn't agree, let him come out and talk to us again. Xiao Fang, Zhen Zhen is right. I think if Li Yong knew something happened to Zhang Chen and we didn't call him to tell him, he would blame us. Lao Tan said, give me Li Yong's phone number. Come and fight. Xiao Fang thought about it and realized that Lao Tan's words made sense. She found Li Yong's phone number from her mobile phone and told Lao Tan. When Lao Tan was about to dial the phone, Xiao Fang thought of what Zhang Chen had told him before. The last time he went to Beijing to help deal with Lu Yun's matter, Xiao Fang said, Brother Tan, why don't we call Sun Ho first? Tan Shahen's eyes lit up. She said yes, you can call Sun Ho. He will know how to use it. If Li Yong has to come forward, he will tell Li Yong. Xiao Fang, what's Sun Ho's phone number? I'll fight. Xiao Fang was dumbfounded. She didn't know Sun Ho's phone number, nor did anyone else present. The only people who had contacted Sun Ho before were Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan, but now, these two people are not here. Then there's no other way, let's call Li Yong, Lao Tan said and was about to call Li Yong's number. Wait, Brother Tan, Xiao Fang shouted. She remembered that in Zhang Chen's Baidu cloud space, he should have a copy of his phone address book in it. Xiao Fang logged into Zhang Chen's cloud space from her mobile phone and found Sun Ho's phone number. Xiao Fang told Tan Shahen about it. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Ziokenran, Tianying 1978, Shiyo 1502160133302826, Pyo Ziofan, Fuying Guang, Shiyo 201811241834233518, Daos Hung 123, Wonk 119, Lin Bugswea, Shiyo 120622101009159, Shiyo 2017051801320649 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1869. Tan Shahen dialed the phone. The phone rang a few times and was picked up. Sun Ho's voice came out. Which one? Tan Shahen told Sun Ho who she was, and Sun Ho happily shouted, hello, hello, Director Tan, what are your orders? Tan Shahen told him about Zhang Chen. Sun Ho was taken aback and asked urgently. When did this happen? Just this afternoon, Tan Shahen said. Where is he now? Sun Ho asked. It's in the Municipal Public Security Bureau, it seems to be in the Criminal Investigation Detachment, Tan Shahen said, it's a bit mysterious. We are looking for connections to inquire, but we are not allowed to inquire. I understand, Mr. Tan, can you wait for my call? Sun Ho said. By the way, is Xiao Fang with you? Tan Shahan said yes, we are together. Don't worry, Xiao Fang. Director Tan, I will contact you right away, Sun Ho said. Tan Shahan said yes. Several people sat there waiting for Sun Ho's call back. They had no other choice but to wait. Tan Shahan looked at her watch. It was already past 8 o'clock. She said to Xiao Fang, should we go have dinner first? Xiao Fang shook her head and said she couldn't eat it. Then let's order takeout. What do you want to eat? Tan Shahan asked. Xiao Fang was in a mess. At this time, it didn't matter to her what she ate. Tan Shahan turned on her mobile phone and wanted to order takeout. Wu Zayawai stood up and said, there are so many hotels on University Road in front of the door. Xiao, let's go cook some dishes and come back. Xiao Wu said yes, and the two of them stood up and walked out. Xiao Fang took out her mobile phone and put it on the coffee table. Tan Shahan took out her mobile phone and put it there. The three of them sat on the sofa, staring at the mobile phone in silence. Xiao Fang's cell phone rang suddenly, and the three of them jumped up from the sofa in shock. Xiao Fang looked at the screen of her cell phone and said to Tan Shahan and Lao Tan, it's Bai Bei. Xiao Fang coughed twice, took a sip of water, and then answered the phone. She tried her best to make her voice relaxed and asked. Hello Bai Bei, did you arrive at school so early? Zhang Xiangbei said no and was about to go out. Oh, Bai Bei, what's the matter? Xiao Fang asked. Why can't I get through Dad's phone call? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Xiao Fang looked up at Tan Shahan and saw her mouth opening and closing. Xiao Fang said. Oh, they are having a meeting, Bai Bei, what's the matter? It's okay, it's okay. I just couldn't get through. It's a bit strange, so I just asked, Zhang Xiangbei said. In fact, it was Xiang Nan who sent the plan for their new play Boys A and Girls Free to Zhang Chen in the afternoon. In the evening, there was no reply from Zhang Chen. Xiang Nan felt strange and called Zhang Chen to ask. She called Zhang Xiangbei for his opinion, and Zhang Xiangbei called her. Xiao Fang smiled, they are discussing the list and distribution plan of the second batch of share reform. It may be late. Bai Bei, after the meeting is over, should I ask him to call you back? Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, no need, I have nothing to do. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Fang sighed softly. The three people looked at each other. More than half an hour had passed. Sun Ho hadn't called back yet. The three of them were a little anxious. Tan Shahan also remembered that time Zhang Chen went to Beijing for Lu Yun. That night, I was also waiting for Zhang Chen's call for a long time. Tan Shahan and Xiao Fang said, they are not that fast. They have a way of doing things. Xiao Fang nodded. Xiao Wu and Wu Zayawai came back with their vest bags, and Tan Shahan said to them, go to the conference room. Let's go to the conference room to eat. Tan Shahan stood up, and she stretched out her hand to pull Xiao Fang up. They hurriedly finished their meal in the conference room and returned to Tan Shahan's office. Tan Shahan asked Xiao Wu and Wu Zayawai to tell the story of the afternoon from beginning to end. Xiao Fang, and Lao Tan listened carefully. I still feel that when the police went there, they were going there for the logistics base, not Zhang Chen. If they were looking for Zhang Chen, they should go directly upstairs to the dynamic zone. Zhen, why don't you give Sun Ho another call? Lao Tan said. Tan Shahan shook her head, if he is talking to someone about something, it would not be good if the call comes in at this time. Lao Tan nodded. Time passed by minute by second, and everyone sat there, feeling like they were counting the seconds and struggling against each other. They all felt a little depressed. Tan Shahan couldn't bear to look at Xiao Fang's miserable face. At around 10 o'clock, the phone rang, and it was Xiaofang's call again. It was Lu Cheng. Lu Cheng had just gotten off the highway and asked where Xiaofang was. Xiaofang told her that it was at Tan Shahan's place. "Okay, I'll be right over," Lu Cheng said. Tan Shahan looked at her watch and said to Xiaofang, "Xiaofang, do you want to make a call?" Xiaofang immediately woke up and picked up the phone to call home. Zhang Chen's mother answered the phone. Xiaofang and Zhang Chen's mother said that they were still in a meeting and would be very late and would not make it through today. Zhang Chen's mother said yes and handed the phone to Zhang Xiangzi. Zhang Xiangzi said goodbye to his mother on the phone, and the two kissed each other again. 10 minutes later, Lu Qing arrived. She came in and asked, "Have you called Li Yong?" Tan Shahan said, "I called Sun Ho, but it has been more than 2 hours now and there is still no call back. We are all anxious." When Lu Qing heard what Tan Shahan said, she breathed a sigh of relief. She, Tan Shahan, Xiaofang and the others said, "There is no phone, but it is a good thing. It means that Sun Ho has found the right way and knows what is going on. He is discussing a solution at this time. Think about it, if there is no clue about this matter, he would have called you to tell you." When Lu Qing said this, everyone present relaxed and felt that what she said made sense. Everyone sat there and continued waiting until about 11 o'clock in the evening. Tan Shahan's phone rang. She glanced at it and shouted, "It's Sun Ho." Everyone fell silent instantly, not even daring to express their anger. Tan Shahan pressed the answer button, and Sun Ho said on the phone, "Dr. Tan, have I kept you waiting for a long time? Is Xiaofang here?" Tan Shahan quickly said, "Yes." "Dr. Tan, let Xiaofang answer the phone together," Sun Ho said. Xiaofang hurried over and said, "Sun Ho, I am Xiaofang." "Hello, Xiaofang." In this case, Zhang Chen's matter is very complicated to say that it is complicated, but it is also very simple to say that it is simple. "Sun Ho, what on earth is going on?" Xiaofang asked anxiously. "Yeah, well, it's not convenient for me to say this now." "Xiaofang, Director Tan, don't worry, Zhang Chen's matter is our own matter, and we will definitely handle it. Huang Jianren will fly to Hangzhou tomorrow morning. Leave everything to him, he knows how to do it, and you just wait for news from him, okay?" Sun Ho said. Tan Shahan and Xiaofang quickly agreed. "Also, let me tell you, the problem is not with the police. You all don't need to look for it anymore, and you don't need to make any more phone calls. If you look for too much and find the wrong one, the effect may be counterproductive. Do you understand?" Tan Shahan said, "We know, Sun Ho, Zhang Chen, he. Don't worry, it's been arranged. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just that this matter can't be solved until Huang Jianren arrives. Just wait," Sun Ho said. Xiaofang said, "Yes, thank you, Sun Ho." Name. Gender. Nationality. Place of origin. Education level. Employer. Position. Domicile. ID number. The two policemen sitting opposite asked Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen answered them one by one. Zhang Chen didn't know where he was now. He only knew that this place was at the end of the stadium, just above the elevated opening, away from them. The dynamic zone is only 200 to 300 meters away. Zhang Chen passes this building almost every day. At the door of the building, a sign hangs. On one side is Criminal Investigation Detachment of Hangzhou City Public Security Bureau, and on the other side is Public Security Detachment of Hangzhou City Public Security Bureau. Zhang Chen does not know whether the people who brought him here were from the Criminal Investigation Detachment or the Security Detachment. Anyway, they were no longer the few people he saw at the logistics base. "What do you want from bringing me here?" Zhang Chen asked. The two policemen opposite were stunned for a moment, looked at each other, smiled and shook their heads. One of them said, "Should we ask you, or should you ask us?" Zhang Chen said, I have said everything you asked me, so can I ask you too? No, we still have many questions to ask you, the police said. Another person tapped his knuckles on the table twice and said to Zhang Chen, this is not your office. Be honest. Just answer whatever we ask you. Do you understand? Don't talk so much nonsense. Zhang Chen was a little annoyed. He shouted, you brought me here to understand the situation or to interrogate the prisoner. Did I break the law? If I broke the law, tell me what law I broke. If you can't tell me, I won't. There is no obligation to cooperate with you. You. The policeman glared at Zhang Chen. The man next to him quickly waved his hand. He looked at Zhang Chen and said, Zhang, Mr. Zhang, that's it? We received reports from the masses that your unit is suspected of organized criminal activities. By the way, is there a training ground in your logistics space, and a gang is organized every day? Are you doing boxing and sparring training? Yes, that's right, but the people participating in the training are all people from our own company, mainly security guards. But as far as we know, there are many people from other places, right? Those are also people from our own unit. Why do people in your own unit practice this? I didn't say it, it's mainly security. Is this what security guards need to practice? Isn't it for fighting? By the way, we also learned that you have had several fights with local villagers before, right? That's because they are looking for trouble, blocking our construction, and blocking our roads to prevent our cars from entering or exiting. Why didn't you call the police? Report it? Even if 110 comes, it can't solve it. After leaving, they continue. We can only drive them away. It's not as simple as driving them away. Someone is injured. Am I right? Some of us were injured too. It wasn't your police station and village committee who organized mediation. We also borne the medical expenses that we should bear. Oh, I remembered, there is another question. It is said that you hired people who have been released from prison to deal with your thugs. Oh, I'm sorry, this is what the report letter said. Did you hire prisoners? Man-released personnel, are you training your people? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, and then he remembered that the people who were released from prison should be Xiao Wu. Thank you for your monthly pass for I Love Purple. It's not an impossible world, Lulu 6717p11, and once upon a time there was a mountain. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1870. That night, Tan Shuhen asked Xiao Fang to go home with her and sleep with her. When they got up the next morning, the two of them drove to Zhang Chen's parents' house in Splendid Home to have breakfast. Both of them pretended to be nonchalant. Xiao Fang was teasing Zhang Xiangzi while eating breakfast, and Tan Shuhen and Zhang Chen's mother were doing their homework. After Xiao Fang finished eating, Zhang Chen's mother asked Xiao Fang, where is Chen Chen, why hasn't he come over yet? Xiao Fang was stunned, her eyes suddenly turned red, and she almost cried. She quickly lowered her head. Seeing this, Tan Shuhen quickly stopped and said, he had something urgent in the morning and went directly to the company. I came to pick up Xiao Fang. Xiao Fang is going to my company to help, and we are leaving soon. Tan Shuhen said and pulled Xiao Fang out. The two of them fled into the car as if they were running away, not even paying attention to Zhang Xiangzi calling Mom, Mom from behind. If they stayed a little longer, Xiao Fang felt that she would burst into tears. Sitting in the car, Xiao Fang felt strange. When did she become so vulnerable? You care too much, Tan Shuhen said slowly. If something happens to the person you care about, everyone will become very vulnerable. Xiao Fang nodded, tears rolled down, and she quickly picked up a tissue to wipe them away. Tan Shahen started the car and the two of them went to Zhang Chen's office in the dynamic zone. As soon as they arrived at the office, Xiao Wu arrived almost immediately. Xiao Wu and Tan Shahen Xiao Fang said, after thinking about it last night, I thought it was better for me to go to the Public Security Bureau and let Brother Chen come out. They were originally here to see me. What Xiao Wu didn't say was that he knew that if Zhang Chen didn't come back for a day, he would definitely be sent to a detention center in the evening. How could Zhang Chen survive in a place like a detention center? I have to replace him no matter what. Anyway, I am used to that kind of place. Nonsense, you think you can change it if you want. Don't be too fussy. Just do as Sun Ho said and let them do it. Other people will probably become more and more helpful at this time. Tan Shahen said, you'd better go back. Go to the logistics base, maybe those people will take this opportunity to look for trouble at the logistics base, so you go there and keep an eye on them. Xiao Wu said yes. Also, no matter what happens, just call me right away, you know? If those people come to cause trouble, just bear with me. At this time, take some of the losses. Don't conflict with the other party. Let you go, and control your subordinates, don't let others provoke them, and they will get angry. The fact that you are safe and sound is the best help to Zhang Chen, do you understand? Xiao Wu nodded and said, I understand, Sister Zhen Zhen. Xiao Wu went to the Jibao logistics base, but Tan Shahen still felt uneasy after thinking about it. Xiao Wu promised to endure it, but if those people really got on top of him, how could he endure it? Tan Shahen called Wu Zayawai and asked where he was. Wu Zayawai said he was on his way. Tan Shahen immediately told Wu Zayawai that you don't need to come over. Go directly to the logistics base and keep an eye on Xiao Wu. Why are you staring at Xiao Wu? Wu Zayawai asked in confusion. Xiao Wu, this guy, is holding his anger inside. I'm afraid that the other party will come to visit me, and if he just vents his anger, the matter will get bigger and bigger. As soon as Tan Shahen said it, Wu Zayawai understood. He said, I understand. Director Tan, you want me to go over and hold him down, right? Tan Shahen said yes, he held down his men, and you hold him down. No matter what happens, you are not allowed to make a move. Okay, I understand, Director Tan. Unless he beats me to death first, Xiao Wu's fist will not fall on him. Don't worry, Director Tan. Wu Zayawai and Tan Shahen said. After hanging up the phone, Tan Shahen was still worried, thinking that if Xiao Wu really lost his temper, Wu Zayawai alone would not be able to stop him. Tan Shahen called Lao Tan and told him the matter, and Lao Tan said he would be there right away. How are you doing there, Zhen Zhen? Tan Shahen and Lao Tan said that Sun Ho called early in the morning and said that Huang Jianren had already boarded the plane. That's good, Lao Tan said repeatedly. Tan Shahen and Xiao Fang were in the office, waiting anxiously. At about 10 o'clock, Xiao Fang's phone rang. It was Huang Jianren. Huang Jianren told Xiao Fang that he had just gotten off the plane. Thank you so much, Brother Huang, we will come to pick you up right away, Xiao Fang said. Huang Jianren said no, someone has already picked me up. Xiao Fang, I will go do something first and then I will go to your place. Xiao Fang quickly said yes. After putting down the phone, both Xiao Fang and Tan Shahen heaved a sigh of relief. Huang Jianren had arrived, and it seemed that things were coming to an end. If there were any changes, Sun Ho would definitely call them first. Tan Shahen and Xiao Fang said, Xiao Fang, don't worry, look, Zhang Chen still has so many brothers, everything will be fine. Xiao Fang nodded and said, yeah, I'm not in a hurry. Sister Zhen Zhen, don't be in a hurry either. Both of them knew that when they were trying to persuade the other person not to be anxious, they were actually very anxious. The two looked at each other and smiled bitterly. By the way, where is Lu Qing? Tan Shehen remembered and asked. Xiao Fang shook her head. Just as she was talking, Xiao Fang's phone rang. It was Lu Qing. Xiao Fang answered the call immediately. Lu Qing was on the phone and said to her in a low voice. Xiao Fang, I saw brother Zhang. Don't worry, he is fine. However, they still refuse to tell me what happened. I will stay here and contact you immediately if there is any situation. Okay, thank you, Lu Qing. Xiao Fang said quickly. By the way, Huang Jianren has also arrived in Hangzhou. Yeah, I understand. I'm just sitting in the director's office, chatting with him. Lu Qing hung up the phone as she spoke. What she didn't tell Xiao Fang was that Zhang Chen stayed in the detention center all night last night and returned here in the morning to continue the interrogation. They were going to call their families in the morning, but she stopped them. Yes, she is a family member. Xiao Fang told Tan Shehen about Lu Qing's phone number. Tan Shehen breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile. The director is probably very upset right now. He wants to smile with Lu Qing on the surface, but Lu Qing just sits there and refuses to leave. It's really a bit troublesome. Xiao Fang also laughed. At around 11 o'clock, the phone dinged, and Xiao Fang received Huang Jianren's WeChat message. She quickly opened it, and Huang Jianren said. It's settled, I'm going to have dinner with my friends. Xiao Fang shouted and quickly showed the phone to Tan Shehen. Tan Shehen also shouted after seeing it, great. Great. The two of them hugged each other and couldn't help it anymore, bursting into tears. After crying for a while, Tan Shehen remembered. She said, hurry up, Xiao Fang, try to call Zhang Chen. Xiao Fang said okay. She was about to make a call when Zhang Chen's call came in. Xiao Fang quickly picked it up. Zhang Chen told them that he was in Lu Qing's car and they were on their way back. After putting down the phone, Xiao Fang and Tan Shehen looked at each other and started crying again. When Zhang Chen and Lu Qing came in from the door, Xiao Fang shouted, rushed over, hugged Zhang Chen and continued to cry bitterly. Zhang Chen said to her. It's okay, why are you crying? I'm back already, aren't you? You said it's okay, do you know how worried we are? Xiao Fang scolded. Zhang Chen smiled and said, I know, but I can't make a phone call. Then do you know what happened now, Zhang Chen? Tan Shehen asked. I still don't know. I turned over and over again and asked me a bunch of questions about the fight at the logistics base, about Xiao Wu, and the two security guards below. They said they were in their hometown and had been detained for fighting, and they asked me to recruit them. Are they used as thugs? These are all messy questions. How do I know what they are going to do? Then they told me that I could leave. They also said that if they needed to know more about the situation, they would come back to me and hope that I could cooperate. That's it, Zhang Chen said. Then do you know? Tan Shehen asked Lu Qing. Lu Qing shook her head and said, I don't know either. It was time for dinner earlier and the director asked me if I wanted to eat together. I said no, so he told me that you and your friends can leave, and we came out. Tan Shehen nodded and said, I understand. Sun Ho is right. The key lies with Huang Jianren. By the way, Zhang Chen, I remembered. Was it Huang Jianren who helped you get your land? Yes, Zhang Chen nodded. Huang Jianren has never been here, Zhang Chen asked. On the way here, Lu Qing told Zhang Chen roughly what happened last night, and also told him that Huang Jianren had arrived in Hangzhou. In the car, they also felt that the reason why Zhang Chen could regain his freedom must be Huang Jianren's work. Now that it's in place, all the answers have to wait for Huang Jianren to help solve it. Xiao Fang said no, and Zhang Chen said, then I'll call him. Don't call. He sent us a WeChat message earlier to tell us that the matter was resolved. He also said that he was having dinner with his friends. It is definitely not convenient for him to answer the phone now, Xiaofang said, and Zhang Chen nodded. Xiaofang had been leaning on Zhang Chen's body. At this time, she relaxed and she sniffed and said, "What does it smell like?" Zhang Chen himself sniffed twice and almost blurted out, "The smell of the detention center. I never thought that one day in my life I would end up in a detention center." He didn't say it again, and changed his words. "What, you dislike me? It's just that I haven't showered for a day." "That's right, I hate it, go take a shower." Xiaofang giggled and pushed Zhang Chen towards the bathroom. "After the shower, let's go eat. We're hungry." Zhang Chen entered the bathroom, where Tan Shehen called Xiao Wu and told him that Zhang Chen was back. Xiao Wu was on the other end of the phone, smiling. "By the way, Xiao, did they come here to find trouble this morning?" Tan Shehen asked. "No, there's nothing happening here. Wu Kai, brother Tan and I went over to take a look. The gates over there are locked and there's no one there. Don't be paralyzed, but be careful," Tan Shehen said. "By the way, if they come to make trouble, don't call Zhang Chen, just call me." Before Xiao Wu could reply, Lao Tan said, "I'll be here all afternoon. If they come, I'll be careful, Zhen Zhen." Tan Shehen said yes, but she was really scared. After Zhang Chen finished taking a bath, he walked out of the bathroom door and shouted, "Come on, hurry up, go downstairs to eat, I'm really hungry." Xiaofang smiled and said, "I'm hungry too." However, she still pushed Zhang Chen back to the bathroom, used a hairdryer to dry his hair, and murmured, "You just want to go on like this? Your hair is a mess. Don't forget that you are the boss here and you don't care about your image at all." Zhang Chen chuckled and let Xiaofang do what he wanted. Tan Shehen and Lu Qing stood there, listening to Zhang Chen and Xiaofang chattering in the bathroom, as if they had endless things to say. Tan Shehen looked at Lu Qing and asked, "Do you feel that we are redundant?" Lu Qing chuckled, "I feel it. Let's go down and ignore them," Tan Shehen said. Lu Qing said yes. When the two people walked to the door of the office, Tan Shehen shouted, "We're going down first, you two, take your time, don't be in a hurry." By the time Xiaofang stuck her head out from the bathroom, the office door had already closed with a click behind Tan Shehen and Lu Qing. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Linbuxinja, Wahaji, Reader 11963189776326411024, and my store for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1871. At around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Huang Jianren came. Zhang Chen quickly said, thank you, Huang Jianren. "Thank you Sun Ho for making you come so far." "Little things." Huang Jianren looked at Zhang Chen and asked, "Are you scared?" Zhang Chen said honestly, "Not at first, but I didn't come out all night, and I was really a little scared. When I saw Lu Qing in the morning and said you came to Hangzhou, I felt relieved again, and there were many twists and turns." Huang Jianren laughed loudly. Fortunately, there was no danger. Lu Qing couldn't help it anymore and asked Huang Jianren, "Brother Huang, what on earth is going on?" Huang Jianren looked at her and smiled slightly, "It's not a big deal." Lu Qing understood immediately that it was not convenient for Huang Jianren to talk to other people. Lu Qing winked at Xiaofang and Tan Shehen, and the two of them understood. Tan Shehen said, "Okay, everyone is fine, I have to go back to the company." Xiaofang also quickly said to Huang Jianren, "Then you sit here, Lu Qing and I have to go back to the company." Huang Jianren said yes. Everyone made an appointment to have dinner together in the evening. To calm Zhang Chen, Tan Shehen went out with Xiaofang and Lu Qing. Zhang Chen closed the door of the office, invited Huang Jianren to sit on the sofa, made him tea, and then sat down on the sofa himself. "Whose gun did I hit this time?" Zhang Chen asked Huang Jianren. "It's the muzzle," Huang Jianren said. "We figured out the situation yesterday, and Sun Ho and I were really shocked. Fortunately, the road later became clear." "Who is it?" Zhang Chen asked. Hearing Huang Jianren's words, he also felt strange. "Xie Zigong, have you heard of it?" Huang Jianren said. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "I've never heard of it." "Okay, you may not know him, he's just a little brat, but you definitely know his father." Huang Jianren said a name. Ah, Zhang Chen was shocked. How could he not have heard of this name? In newspapers, TV, and on the internet, this name sounded like a callous. To talk about this relationship, it is really clear, but why did I offend them? Zhang Chen asked curiously. "I am an ordinary person and I have never dealt with them." "That's right. You didn't offend them. They just took a fancy to you." Huang Jianren leaned over and spoke in a low voice, thinking to himself that he was actually offended. When Huang Jianren arrived at Xie Zigong's office in the morning, this guy was still saying that Zhang Chen was ignorant, and asked Huang Jianren, "By the way, did he think you were there? Only when you have a backer can you be confident." Huang Jianren knew what he meant when he said that Zhang Chen was ignorant. He was saying that Zhang Chen still rented the land from their unit, but he had been transferred back to Hangzhou from Zhoushan for several years, and he still didn't know Zhang Chen yet. He didn't know how to move around during the holidays. Huang Jianren quickly said, "It's nothing. My brother is just a bit clumsy sometimes and doesn't know much about the world. He doesn't just treat you like this, he treats everyone the same. Gangzi, for our sake, let's not care about this, okay?" Xie Zigong held a cigarette in his mouth, raised his head, and pointed his chin at Huang Jianren. He looked at him with some arrogance, and finally snorted. "It's a joke, I will still argue with him." Huang Jianren felt angry in his heart and really wanted to punch him, but he still smiled and said, "Just don't care about it. Brother Sun also told me yesterday that Gangzi is not an unloyal person. Everyone just misunderstood. You go over and let everyone talk, that's fine." Xie Zigong nodded. "Brother Sun is right, he understands me." More than 20 years ago, when Xie Zigong's family first arrived in Beijing, he was indeed a little kid. He was born in 1970, and was younger than Huang Jianren and Sun Ho. At that time, he was playing behind them. Although his father was already a senior cotter, there were so many cotters at this level in Beijing. At that time, Xie Zigong was following them. How dare he point his chin at people like he does today? Only later, as his father's position continued to be promoted, this guy also left Beijing. He was promoted step by step in the local area, and then he became more confident. It is said that people in the work unit usually don't take people seriously. Sometimes, I walk around with my arms swaying, and I don't like to say hello when I see acquaintances. When Huang Jianren came from the airport, he was still worried whether this guy would have his eyes turned upside down, but fortunately, although they had not seen each other for more than 20 years, when they met today, this guy was not that bastard, and he was not pretending yet. I don't know him as an old friend. Although Huang Jianren knew that Xie Zigong actually had to agree to today's matter. He should have been scolded by Lao Xie last night, but Huang Jianren still let him trust him and let him sell face to himself and Sun Ho. "What do they see in me?" Zhang Chen asked Huang Jianren. "What did you fancy?" Of course Xie Zigong was not interested in those things that should be paid tribute to during the holidays, but Zhang Chen's entire logistic space. "Mr. Zhang, do you know who owns the warehouse opposite you?" Huang Jianren asked. "I heard that he is from Chunnan named Wu. Some relative of his is the female boss of the two previous markets," Zhang Chen said. "I'm still wondering if this warehouse belongs to this female boss." "Yes, you guessed it right. That warehouse belongs to the female boss, and this female boss is Xie Zigong's wife. Huang Jianren said, "Do you understand now how you bumped into their cannon?" Just for a little humming dispute, Zhang Chen asked. Dispute? What kind of dispute? Disputes are also created. What they want is to make you unable to stay there. If you can't stay there, or something happens, they can take back the place, and then transfer it to Wu in my hands. Do you understand? Zhang Chen was taken aback again. He vaguely understood something in his mind, but he still had a vague understanding. Zhang Chen and Huang Jianren said, "Please be more careful, I still don't understand." "If you want to be careful, it's a long story," Huang Jianren said with a smile. "Tell me, I'm not afraid of growing up," Zhang Chen said. "Okay, let me start with his wife, Wu XX, okay," Huang Jianren asked, and Zhang Chen nodded. This Wu Mumu is also a ruthless character. She met Xie Zigong when she was working on the Jibao land to build a market. This woman is probably more clingy. I don't know why, but Xie Zigong, so she stuck her into the hotel room and onto the bed. "Wait, talking about this, I remembered it," Zhang Chen interrupted Huang Jianren and said, "Did you originally get this piece of our land from Xie Zigong?" "Of course not. At that time, he happened to be working in Zhoushan for a year," Huang Jianren said. "The two markets owned by Wu Mumu and the warehouse land were taken from him after he returned to Hangzhou." Zhang Chen nodded. "This Wu Mumu must be as beautiful as a fairy. Xie Zigong is a hero but a beauty. Shit, she's old and ugly. She's 1 or 2 years older than Xie Zigong. When they met, she was already in her 40s. She divorced her husband for Xie Zigong." Huang Jianren said, "A person in her 40s actually got pregnant. After she became pregnant, she took her mother with her, and went to Xie Zigong's office every day to make trouble and hold him responsible." Lao Xie in the capital was alarmed. What else can you do when you meet such a person? It turns out that Xie Zigong divorced his wife and married her. Maybe Xie Zigong thought that she was better at making money, which was not bad. But this marriage, even he dad was very dissatisfied and felt that his old face had been completely disgraced by the boy. After the market here was established, Wu Mumu did make a lot of money at first, collecting hundreds of millions in rent alone. But later, you should also know that the entire market in Jibao did not take off. The operators all asked to return the rent, saying it was different from the original promise. Of course Wu refused to return. Even if she was willing to return, she didn't have so much money. Most of the money had been spent. Where could she get it? Refund them. Thousands of business owners, unable to get their money back, made trouble and blocked Wu in the office. Wu escaped. They knew that Wu's husband was Xie Zigong, so they went to find Xie Zigong. They also wrote letters to Beijing. The letters of complaint were flying like snowflakes. Think about it, the wife of an active senior official is doing business in violation of regulations and developing commercial real estate on the land owned by her husband's unit. This impact is so bad that it will affect the wife. Xie was furious and asked them to handle the matter as soon as possible. No, Wu Mumu thinks that the market is not easy to operate. Seeing that the business of your logistics space is not bad, he wants to continue to build a logistics space and use the money from renting the warehouse to fill the holes there. However, the land in the agricultural and sideline industry base has been gone, there's only this small piece left. I understand. When they built that warehouse, they didn't want to rent it out cheaply. If it was cheap, they wouldn't be able to make much money. As a result, the rent was too high and they couldn't rent it out. That's when they thought of us, right? Zhang Chen asked. You are half right. Someone under Xie Zigong revealed to me that it was Wu Mumu and Xie Zigong who complained that it was because you were here that she had no business. That guy has become accustomed to being arrogant in the past few years. I heard his wife say this. He thought, what's so difficult about this? Just think of a way to drive you away, and the money received here will just go to Ping. Huang Jianren said. Zhang Chen took a breath of cold air. So that's it, Zhang Chen said. What about now? Just to sell your and Sun Ho's face, this guy doesn't want to have my logistics space anymore. How can we have such a big reputation? It was Lao Xie who scolded him and told him not to cause trouble again, Huang Jianren said. Lao Xie, you mean his father? Zhang Chen said. He has reached that position, who else can do his job? Huang Jianren smiled and said, no matter how awesome people are, they started out as soldiers. They have people who are grateful and in awe, and there are people who dare not offend. We found this person last night. Zhang Chen nodded and said, I understand, one thing comes down. Thank you to Huangpu Issue 20, Yuengzi, Hu, Book Friends 201912179332388847, Book Friends 201701042257444094, Book Friends 12062210100915, Skyben Thunderclouds Destroy, and Zonkai 727 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.